Welcome to Cholan Show. This is Sudhakar, and we have our guest, Mr. Nalla, who is a wildlife photographer, and he has 50 plus nominations plus awards on this area. Welcome to the show, sir. Please introduce yourself.
My full name is Subbiah Nallamuthu. In short, they call me Nalla. I'm in this wildlife space for the last 18-20 years. I make films. I produce films for worldwide audience, and I produced more than 6-7 wildlife full-length feature for international telecast, mainly for National Geographic, Discovery, BBC, Animal Planet. But I follow only tigers for the last 18 years, a decade. I'm just following only tigers. That's what my specialization. Tiger, in sense, what I do is I follow a family of tiger for years. Sometimes 3 years, sometimes more than 5 years, till I get a story. So that's why I produce 6 projects. It's all self-funded. Yeah.
Why tigers?
So tigers, in wildlife space, if you see most of the international programs, mostly shot in Africa and other places, Amazon and Africa, but hardly any tiger there, because only in Asia we can see tigers. There are very few tiger programs. So since I'm based in India, since my stories are character-driven stories, I have to regularly go to the forest, day in, day out. So I thought, might as well do tiger, which is difficult one way. It's again a charismatic animal, and to tell a story is difficult, because the forest is so dense when compared to Africa. And there is a demand in this international television market. And again, most of my projects are self-funded. So one thing which it can also say it's easy, not easy, it sells. It's compared to other animals. So that's the reason. Apart from that, I'm fond of tiger. From the day one when I started following. I used to do freelancing for wildlife channel people to come to India. Then I do only freelancing. So most of the time, I shot tiger footage for them. Then I started doing small segments, small episodes. I used to shoot and send it to them. We started like that. So I specialized in sense, and I knew some places, where the visibility is more, the characters are good, So that's why I started. So the reason is it sells, and it's what the content is. It's very very few in the world market. And it's difficult, and it's great story. Tiger is a great storyteller. Yeah.
Yeah. So for us, the tigers are like very important, because we have tigers, leaping tiger in our Chola flag, and tiger is a national animal in India as well. So following these kind of like what we say, passion. So how difficult it is to take this as a passion and work on in your life?
See, in terms of producing programs in tigers, getting a story is difficult. I always say the same thing again and again, because it's easy to get footage. Because if you go every day morning and wait, shoot till evening, easy to get footage, But again, just a good-looking footage is not going to sell, and you cannot make a sequence. You cannot tell a story. My stories are 45 minutes, sometimes 1 hour. A character means I get into their life, get into their, all characters. If mother has got 3 cubs, I started following them when they are 2 months old till till they separate from the mother. I try to find each and every character is different. Try to tell a story through them. So that's one thing is very difficult. Again, as a professionals, and I come under commercial category, we end up paying heavy commercial fees for a filming fees, which is something around 20,000-25,000 rupees for 2 safaris. If it's a full day, it's 40,000 rupees. Why I'm telling this is that we spend something around 200 days a year. So just imagine the amount of money you invest. So that is one thing is a risky thing, because you spend so much money and you need to use international broadcasting camera, because they have their own standards. You can't use normal small cameras. So those cameras are expensive, the lenses are expensive, you can't get it on hire. You may end up investing on your own. That investment is one. And for an Indian filmmakers, I mean, it's very difficult to get commissioning from international side. So that's one difficulty. You may end up putting your own, investing your own money. So altogether, if we see, it's a gamble. You have to invest a lot of money. You have to struggle to get a story day in, day out, sometimes 2 years, and make a story, then go and pitch it. No, that way it's a challenging. But yeah, if you get a great story, it's always a business there.
How is the support from your family when you said, I want to go in this wildlife photography?
Family side, yeah, it's a risk because, I mean, honestly speaking, if I work as a cameraman for a wildlife production, I can earn a lot of money. But if I had to produce a film, it's a risky thing. It's again passion. Again, the idea of getting into this wildlife spaces because my journey was, from 80s, I'm from Film Institute, Chennai. I completed cinematography. Then I wanted to get into feature films. Some of those days things was not good and there was hardly any help from seniors. So I joined Indian Space Research. I worked for 2 years. Then again I was working in in Government of India. Then after a point there was no charm in that work, government job. I resigned the job. Then I did a lot of television. So from a lot of television, I got bored of doing television. All travel series and cookery series and all religious shows and multicams. So I wanted to do some meaningful job. So meaningful means again as a cameraman, this is the only thing because after working 10-15 years of television, then I used to produce a television program. So I thought I as a cameraman to tell a story. So that's the reason wildlife is the only thing. As a cameraman, you can also film, you can put together, you can make a story. So that's why I started. So in that way, family means there's good support because I worked 15-20 years. They know the kind of a difficulty I've gone through. Now also I'm going through a difficulty. It's not that easy. They're used to that actually.
Right. So how is the viewership for this Nat Geo, Discovery, all those thing both in digital space as well as in the satellite space?
See, in satellite space is not good now. Because after this OTT, earlier, yes, there was only option for wildlife programs. And the irony is, in our country, there's no platform for wildlife at all. If you wanted to produce or telecast any wildlife program, you have to go to National Geographic, Discovery or only international broadcasters. And there is no support from our side, neither a government side, nor a corporate side, nor private investors, and there's no one commissions. There's not even a single slot for wildlife. That's one problem for wildlife space. And in terms of audience, yes, there used to be only those channels are only audience. Now what happens is earlier we do one hour feature. 1 hour feature takes 2 to 3 years. Now after this OTT, they want series. As an individual like me, investing so much money to produce 3-part series is very difficult. Lot of money, lot of time. So in that way, I think digital space is not good for an independent wildlife production, producers like us. And what's happening in international side also, if we see channels like BBC and all, they do Planet Earth and other big volume programs, which is a lot of money involved in that. Which is because all the channels put together, they make those bigger series. So that's a change. But otherwise, there is good audience for both, in digital stuff. Now, yes, digital. I mean, apparently YouTube is doing well. A lot of small films. Now, again, one more thing is now things have changed. They want a shorter format. So that way, a lot of changes.
Right. So how different the psychology of the tigers compared to our human psychology? Like, do they have family structure, all those things?
If you ask me, all my program, if you see all my program, they're all in Disney, Hotstar and all those places because it's more or less, it's the same like us, Same like us. Even the relationship with mother and cubs, the dominant factor between brother and sister, the separation, everything more or less. I always tell, in our human life, in 18 years, our sons and daughters, they want to separate space and they want to separate from everything separate. The same way it happens in tiger in 8 months, in 18 months. So So it's like, that a lot of similarity in terms of so many factors. It's not one. No, more or less, I've observed it, I've documented so much, and the whole idea of all my films are like that, to document those moments and put together and tell a story. The way, the kind of the similar behaviors in our own house, so that way the audience also can relate, with the animal, so that they respect the animals. So that's the way all my films are, in a positive way. So yes, there are a lot of similarities, I can say.
What would be the total population of tigers in the whole world?
As of now in India, more than 3,500 including cubs. I mean, it's keep changing. And overall I can say, only in Asia maybe another 500-600, but otherwise, we are the only one mainly having an Asian content. Otherwise, a lot of breeding centers. I'm talking about wild, but the numbers are more in our country actually. Yeah.
So, from the evolution of tiger perspective, I read something about Panthera, and from Panthera, like we got lion belonging to the same cat family. Why the concentration is more in Asian countries compared to other countries? Is it conducive for tiger population?
It's a difficult question for me. So, for me, I normally, all my stories, whatever the stories I do, that's one thing which worked in my kind of a filmmaking is I try to avoid the science and evolutions and stuff, because the thing is, again, my films also hardly talk about conservation also. The whole idea of making films from my way is to talk about and to telling a story, an emotional story through the tiger's perspective. But in answering to your questions, whatever I know as a storyteller, I always see as an audience, we have more in our country, in our Asian region. I never studied or followed it, because that area is always, I found it not boring. It never worked in terms of audience. So that way, I don't think I'm the right person to answer that particular question. But yes, as a storyteller, I believe in avoiding those facts and figures. It's never worked, and interesting stories works.
So, how much of entertainment should be there in this kind of wildlife videos?
See, if you see, first I try to get an emotional behavior of tigers, and I also followed one tiger in Ranthambore, which is world's most famous tigress, which is also in Disney. It is the first time I followed this tiger from prime to death. So when you see the whole documentation, it almost took more than 6 years. If you see the whole documentation, that's the first time I documented a tiger from a prime to death. Tiger lives for 18 to sometimes 20. This particular tiger, some people say it's lived for more than 19 years. In zoos, yes, they feed, they live more. So this is the first documentation. In this, if you see exactly, you can see the most of the behaviors which I captured in that particular character is like more or less whatever happens in our own family after old age. The old age life of our human. And same thing is I managed to capture from that particular family. And this is the first time I managed to get this tiger dying a natural death on camera, which is also the first time I've captured it. So the thing is, when you see it, you can literally relate your own life after age. For our own old age, grandfathers and fathers and mother. So if you see, first what worked in my stories is the emotional, behaviors and emotional attachment, and what happens in tigers, the tiger mother role is always, I feel bad about it, because they raise these cubs, and after 18 months the same cubs, they'll fight with the same mother, and they fight for the same territory. Sometimes they chase the mother from the territory, and there are some incident, I've captured it. The son comes back after 2 years to when into his mother territory and fight with the old mother and injured. These sort of emotional thing happens. So what happens is, after exactly 18 months, the relationship's completely cut off. They draw a line after there's no mother and no cub, no sister, brother. But before that, if you see, the whole relationship is completely different. But still, the tiger mother again go mate, produce cubs. So they just keep doing it. So that way, if you see, tiger mothers are, their roles are so much for the forest for us, that's what I followed at least some 5-6 tiger mothers.
So who is powerful, the male version or a female version of the tiger?
I can say that depends on the age, it depends on the area, depends on the situation, and obviously males are always. They cover more areas. For them, they need thrice the size of female, and female try to stick to one male. But male will have 2-3 different females. So the male keep roaming around and manage 3 different females, sometimes more. There is one case, there's one male in Maharashtra, the male has got more than 10 cubs.
Oh, okay.
So there are some characters. But now things are changing because a lot of change in the forest, a lot of change in the territory, space. Earlier, these females used to be more than 30-40 square kilometers. Now we can see the same females somehow they manage to live within 10 square kilometers. So, yeah, that way if you see, females are mostly without, I always love to follow females because you get more, what do you call that, for a story, and you can follow a mother and cubs. So end up, at least after 2 years, you'll get one full-length story. Male comes and goes. It's very, very difficult to follow a male because they come, maybe they stay for 2-3 days and they vanish. So that's why I always stick to female like a filmmaker like me to get a character-based film.
Have you seen any encounter between a tiger and a lion?
No, because generally happen the terrain is because tiger and lion they won't live together. First of all, in our country there is a forest called Gir, the only lion. There are a lot of national parks. There's no such. Yes, tiger and leopards, yes, but not with lion. Big cat and tigers and leopard there are some encounters. And in fact, I also got capture on camera because sometimes they overlap and they share the territory and they fight each other, but not lion.
So, anything other than tiger, have you spent time on this wildlife?
I spent on elephants a little bit, and apart from that, I did a film in Western Ghats for Discovery, which is about this bizarre-looking species. Bizarre in the sense they got great evolutionary, historical, stories, and we followed species like slender loris, looks bizarre, and hornbill, again look bizarre. Purple frog, which is a frog which look bizarre, and elephant, and lion-tailed macaque. So this species, which is mostly in our Western Ghats, which followed. I spent a year in monsoon, and in that also we managed to get a lot of never been shot before sequences. Like first time this frog comes out from the earth and they mate and they just go. So this we captured on camera, and nocturnal behaviors of loris, slender loris, which is only in our country. So those things, which is also completely different, different because we followed it because it's got Western Ghats. The one thing it's got great, endangered species. So that's one series I did it.
So, do we have any liger or ligress in India?
No.
Anywhere in the world, you know?
World, yes. And in Indian, Asian side, I never come across. We do have some white, Melanese, how do you spell it? That this melanistic tigers.
Okay.
White color, it's called white tigers, and black tigers again melanistic, and again black panther, which is melanistic. So these tigers, but not liger and stuff, which I've seen in these images in YouTubes and other places, but not in our country. Yeah.
So what kind of equipments the wildlife photographer should have? Any specific things?
Specific things is mainly high end, which is 4K, true 4K 16-bit. That's what we use, and again we use long lenses. I use Leica lenses, which is 400, 280, sometimes 800, and we are allowed to shoot only from the jeep. We're not allowed to get down. So that's one thing which is restricted, and we are also allowed to shoot only from the jeep, and we need long lenses, and that's one thing, and shoot in slow motions, 60 frames per second. So these high-end expensive equipments are very expensive. And again, storage is a big task for us, because sometimes if it's a decent good sighting, we get sometimes 500 GB footage, 500 GB in a day, and we also take a backup of again 500 GB, 1 terabyte. We consume a lot in terms of data, and storing this data is a big thing for us. For a film like this, we end up getting 200 to 300 hours of footage, 4K. Then we downsize it to normal edit, then I go back. So those storage of cloud space, hard drives, and store this stuff in LTO, which is again not a complicated and expensive. So overall, if you see in terms of long lenses and high-end equipment, equal international standard, and the data size, storage is an expensive post-production setup.
So are these equipments available in rental, or we have to buy it?
No, I think it's not available. Lenses are not available, and even if it's available, what happens is they give it an assistant, and carrying an assistant, 2-3 assistant with you. It practically it won't work. I go alone, so that's one reason I got these equipments on my own, and again it's very difficult to get kind of a lenses you want. Because I like block lenses. I don't like zoom. So that's one thing. It's not available on rent. So that's a very big investment in terms of equipments. Yeah.
So you said that's open-ended Jeep kind of safari,
yeah,
right?
we have open Jeep.
So have you experienced anything like the tigers or a lion getting closer to you, to the vehicle?
It comes closer to us. What happens is we go regularly, morning to evening. We're the first people to go to the forest.
Right.
We're the last, and we go, and I follow one character for years, and they also get used to my own vehicle.
Right.
And they also see the whole vehicle as an object. They don't see, and the minute you get down, they just run away. It's not that, people always see tiger comes and attacks. No, it never happened in last decade I'm working, and I'm following tigers. And we don't get down, and our whole job is to shoot from a long distance. If they come closer, we just stay there, and they avoid conflicts. I don't think, it's a myth, Tiger comes and attacks, it hardly does it. Yes, of course, if you get down, and if you go closer to them, it gives a warning, and if you still don't respect, then they try to give a mock-up attack, and then attack happens. There are whatever the attack happens in our country is mostly in rural side, mostly in the buffer zone, where the people go, they just bend down, they pick up woods, and they just so the tiger thinks there's a 4-legged animal. Right. They also wanted to safeguard themselves. Right. In that way they attack. It's not that the kind of a myth which everyone's got, tiger comes, they attack. Right. So that's one reason I make all my films. I tell a positive side of tigers, and also the emotional side of tigers. And again, that's one reason I don't talk about science and evolution stuff, because idea is to tell a story create an awareness with these normal people, for them to know tigers is friendly animal.
Right. So how important the existence of tiger to the humankind?
Existence in sense, again,
it is like as such that animal exists in this world, right? So it is part of an ecosystem.
Yeah.
Right? So how it is directly affecting our livelihood?
See, they are the top of the chain. If tiger always save the forest. The mothers always produce cubs, and obviously, they balance this whole ecosystem. So ecosystem is important for our own survival. Right. That way, if you simplify it. Otherwise, if you wanted to explain without tiger what happens, it's a very long-term effect. It's like there's no dinosaurs now. Right. But still, it's a very long-term effect is going to be there. If you ask me, yes, it's very important for us, for the ecosystem. And in today's situation, what happens is tigers still surviving. I think till they survive, even they can adopt. Right. That's what I'm seeing it. The numbers are more. We have very less space. There are a lot of tigers are outside the park. Still, they manage to survive. And people like us. One needs to create awareness to explain to people who are in this conflict zone. We need to learn how to coexist with tigers. Right. that's the only option, because the way things are encroachment and the way the forests are sinking, and there is very less space for them. They are adapting themselves to survive, and we also have to adapt to, and the migratory routes from one state to another state is a complete mess.
Right.
A lot of encroachment, a lot of roads and new developments. So that's also started affecting those tigers. So this is again conservation, and we get into that so much. But at the end of the day, I mean, in short, if you ask me, yes, they are surviving with their own way. The same way we also learn to coexist with them and try to give them a space.
Right. So from the conservation perspective, like what are all the steps government has taken to protect the endangered species?
Yeah, they are doing conservation wise. Forest department is working a lot, but still, again, it's not that easy to what do you call that, safeguard, because it's a huge task and kind of very less manpower. Again, it's not. I mean, it's not that. I think it's not that easy to stop all these illegal activities, because again it's never ending. The kind of a population, the kind of a growth, the kind of a encroachment, the kind of a loopholes in our system, which is never ending. It's like a lot of ways. There are a lot of things are happening. It's out of the way. So they are trying their level best, but whatever they do, but at the end of the day, I always say we have to. It's all in our hands. It's not their hands, because there are a lot of loot. I'm seeing it because I have seen, last the decade of forest, I'm following tigers and going to the forest. I can see the difference from last 10 years and now. There are a lot of loopholes, and there are a lot of things which is not good for these wild animals. And it's not in our hand. People have to understand the future, and it's very important for them to know. And there's one more thing. One thing is, that is for the very few people are creating awareness programs.
Right.
Still 8 out of 10 people always think they wanted to kill tigers. Right. I was talking to, I'm also planning for a feature film. So I was explaining my story to a actor, lead actor.
Right.
He's a very famous actor, a mass actor. The first thing I told him that, this is a feature film. I told him, you are the forest officer, sir. You are going to save a tiger against all odds with the protagonist. And he asked me, what is the protagonist role? And the protagonist role is the villain is a person who wanted to kill the tiger. And you wanted to save the tiger. Immediately he said, no, Nalla, it's not going to work. I asked him why. I said, people will laugh at me if I act as a protector. People will be happy to see me as a villain. Because people always want to kill a tiger.
Right.
So that's the perspective. He clearly said, because I really liked it, because it's difficult to not make a film. That's a fact.
Right.
That's a fact in sense. People love, and always want to kill the tiger.
Right.
There are some films.
Right.
I don't want to name it. The hero is literally fighting with a tiger and killing a tiger. Worked well.
Right.
I'm trying to make a film which actor, a protagonist as a forest officer want to save a tiger, and he was not very happy with that particular concept. We were trying to work out, but again, as a filmmaker, I wanted to tell a story of a forest officer wanted to save. So the reality is that is people have that particular mindset.
Right.
Tiger means kill it. It's like snake.
Right.
Snake comes, there's no second thought, kill it.
Right.
They never realize it just, the same way it is. So that mindset has to be changed. For that, it's not the government. Filmmakers should make a lot of awareness projects. Hardly anyone. Very few people. Right. I think if you ask me, in our country, 4 or 5 filmmakers, wildlife filmmakers.
Right.
A lot of fiction filmmakers and a lot of reels every day comes with hardly any wildlife filmmakers.